Hi everybody, my name is Patsy Cline.
And my name is Indika Haze.
And today, we are at the Tacoma Art Museum.
That's right, the TAM, right here in downtown Tacoma. It's a beautiful museum.
It's a beautiful museum. Just to sort of celebrate Pride Month, I really wanted to go over to this Wizard of Oz piece. Because back in the day, we were called Friends of Dorothy. It was sort of like a code that queer people used to let others know they were queer. And it's kind of amazing that this one singular movie, which is really about a bunch of misfits coming together to overthrow a dictator or a fascist almost, and you know, it represented our community for so long.
Absolutely. Who do you feel like most identified with? Like out of the cast of characters, you know, there's the one looking for a brain, the one looking for a heart, the one looking for a home, the one looking for courage. Which do you find that you have the most of? And which do you find that you're struggling the most to find for yourself?
I would say that I really, for a long time in my life, I really felt like Dorothy because I wanted to get out of my hometown so bad that I went away to boarding school.
Oh, wow.
And I found out that I was actually happier at home. And you know, you go and you meet all these crazy people and you realize that your happiness is actually within you. It has nothing to do with where you're going or you know, who you're meeting. It's to do with who you are inside and how you really turn your own happiness into something that's very personal. I would think, honestly, that I'm striving to be still is the lion.
Really?
Yeah. You know, it's funny to say that because I perform in front of audiences all the time and I don't have any sort of stage fright, but in a lot of ways, I'm always trying to find my courage to fight my anxieties, to not hate being alone so much in the world, and yeah, that's I guess what I'm sort of striving. What about you?
Well, I do want to touch on the lion a little bit, just real quick with what you were saying too, like finding that courage. I think it's interesting that in the symbology, he doesn't have a head.
Right.
Like he can't find his voice too.
Yeah, that's very true. He's almost effectively silenced by his lack of courage to speak out for himself. Yeah.
So I think, for me, the one that I feel like more defined me, I guess.
Was the witch?
No. Well, though she is a bit misunderstood.
She is.
We'll talk about that. But no, truly, I would say also, like my original would be either Dorothy or the Coward.
Right.
Cowardly Lion.
Yeah.
You know, when I was 3 years old, my parents got divorced. It was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So it was always there never really was a place to call home necessarily.
Right.
And on top of that, being the new person at school every 6 months, you know, you have to have a lot of courage, and sometimes it just kind of fell into the background.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm working on most now, or what I still struggle with, I guess, I might actually say the Scarecrow.
Really?
Yeah, I would. You know, here's the thing is, especially right now in our society, we are using what we've always been taught, like the same standard playbook, and we're realizing that playbook is gone, and I'm realizing how little I actually know, and how much more I need to educate myself, and you know, hopefully help educate other people.
And, you know, with all the Black Lives Matters movement happening right now, unlearning sort of racism and bigotry, and you know, we all thought that we knew what we needed to know, and we're finding out that we didn't, especially as white people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think this one is really key, especially like this Pride season.
Yeah.
You know, knowledge is something that we all need to have, and we all should have a little bit more heart too. And just let one another a little bit more. It's not that hard, I promise. This is one of my favorite pieces that I show to everyone. And it's interesting to me because, you know, there's a part of it that looks like it's just frozen in time, you know, but there's this joyful smile on his face.
Oh, yeah, there is. It's almost like he died for what he believed in.
Yeah, no matter what the struggle was, no matter what was thrown at him, no matter how strange or different, he's smiling.
It's almost, you know,
or they're smiling. I can't necessarily see it.
Right.
You know,
yeah. You know, I think for a lot of marginalized people, we're happy to sacrifice ourselves for what we believe in, especially if it means leaving a better world for those who are coming after us. And in a lot of ways, that kind of reminds me of, you know, he might have been decapitated, they might have been decapitated, but they were, you know, they
With a
died with a
smile
smile
on
on
their
their
face.
face. That means that they died believing in what they believed in. So.
And the idea of it being served on a platter, like,
Right.
how interesting is that for, like, let's say they were beheaded by someone, like their enemy.
Right.
But that, to get that last
They were a
last
threat,
jab,
right?
and you know, and here's my head being presented to them, but I've still got a smile on my face. So you may have taken me down, but you will never kill my spirit.
Right, you'll always have to see that smile. It's frozen in time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We have been delighted to share this Pride Month and to show you some of our favorite pieces here.
And we can't wait for you to have your opportunity to come on down here to Tacoma Art Museum and go on a tour of your very own and find some pieces that inspire you.
And maybe we'll see you there.
Here's hoping. Don't forget, Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Keep social distancing up.
Wear a mask.